Hello everyone and welcome to TechTud. So today we are going to look at a question based on Boolean algebra. But before we proceed on to solving this question, I would like to request you to please read the question first by pausing the video. Now, what we are given in the question is that we are given four Boolean variables, namely x1, x2, x3 and x4. These are all Boolean variables. And we are given that this equation holds true. Now, if x1, x2, x3 and x4 are Boolean variable and this equation holds true, then which of the following Boolean expression will hold true? So how do we proceed on to solving this question? Let's see. Now because we are given that this holds true, this means by XORing each of the Boolean variable, we get a result of 0. Now we can understand the XOR operator by understanding it to be a modulo to sum operator. What do I mean by that? Consider two Boolean variables x and y. The possible values that they can hold are both of them can be 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. Now for each of these cases, the value of x XOR y will be 0, 1, 1, 0. Now see, this result could be understood as 0 plus 0 mod 2, which is equal to 0. This result could be understood as 0 plus 1 mod 2, which is equal to 1. This could be understood as 1 plus 0 mod 2, which is equal to 1. And this could be understood at 1 plus 1 mod 2, which is equal to 0. So XOR operator could be understood as modulo to sum. Now, how we can use this property to solve the question? See, we are given that by XORing each of the Boolean variables x1, x2, x3 and x4, we are getting 0. So what are the possible values that x1, x2, x3 and x4 can have? Let's see. So if this equation y holds true, then what we can say that there will be case 1 when all are 0. By that I mean each one of x1, x2, x3 and x4 holds the value 0, then in that case this equation will hold. There could be one more case where two of them are 0. By that I mean if any two of these four Boolean variable is 0, then also this equation will hold. And there could be a third case in which all of the four Boolean variables holds the value 1. All are 1. In this case also this equation holds. Why? Because 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 mod 2 will result in 0. Now for each of these cases, let's analyze each option and see what we get. Now for each of these four options, let's see each of these cases and see what happens. So for option A, if we try to see case 1 where all of these four Boolean variables assumes the value 0, the first case will hold true. Now for case 2, when any two of the Boolean variables holds the value of 0, we see that this option A will hold true, because if any two of the Boolean variables are 0, let's say we choose that x1, x3 are 0, then 0 ANDed with x2, ANDed with again 0, ANDed with x4 will also result in 0. Therefore, second case also holds true. Therefore, the case 2 also holds in this case. Now, when we say see case 3, when all of the Boolean variables holds the value of 1, then this option becomes false. Why? Because 1 ANDed with 1, ANDed with 1 and ANDed with 1 will give us 1 which is not equal to 0. Therefore, option A is false. Now, if we see for option B, for case 1, when all of them are 0, this holds true. But in second case, when two of them are 0 and one of them is 1, then we can see that, let's say x1 is equal to 1 and x4 equals to 1 and x2 equals to 0 and x3 equals to 0. Then in that case, x1 ANDed with x3 ORed with x4 will equals to 1 which is not equals to 0. So this case 2 does not hold in this case. So therefore we cannot say that this equation always holds true. So this is false. Now before moving on to option C, option D looks simple. So let's look at it. When we analyze option D for case 1, where all of the Boolean variables holds the value of 0, we see that option 1 holds, case 1 holds. Now for case 2, when two of the Boolean variables are 0 and rest are 1, we see that this will give us a value of 1. Let's say x1 is equals to 1 and x3 is equals to 1 and rest are 0. So in that case, the value of this expression will be 1 plus 0 plus 1 plus 0. This will give us 1 which is not equal to 0. So again case 2 is false. Therefore option D is also wrong. Therefore we can see that option C remains, which is true. And if you want to analyze, you can see that in case of option C, when we see first case when all are 0, then what will be the case? 1 XORed with 1. Will this be equal to 1 XOR with 1? So we see the case 1 is true. Now let's analyze case 2. Now for option C, when two of them are 0 and rest are 1, let's say x1 and x3 is 0 and x2 and x4 are 1. So when x1 and x3 holds the value 0, their complements will be 1. Therefore 1 XOR 1, will this be equal to x2 and x4 assume the value of 1, so their complements will be 0. So 0 XOR with 0. So we can see that this will give us the value of 0 and this also gives the value of 0. Therefore both of them are equal. Now if we assign the value of 0 and 1 to any of the Boolean variables, this case 2 will pass. And now let's analyze case 3. Now in case 3, where all of the Boolean variables holds the value of 1, let's see whether option C holds or not. So all are 1, x1 complement XORed with x3 complement, will this be equal to x2 complement XORed with x4 complement? So x4 complement XORed with x2 complement, and here we get 0 and here also we get 0. So both of them are equal. So we see that both case 2 and case 3 holds true in case of option C. Therefore answer is option C. Thank you for watching this video. Goodbye and keep learning.